Wow, we had a beautiful celebration of life for Nedra Kinerk, who was one of our board members, past president, and more importantly, she is one of my founders along with me and Spud Brown. We three started this museum from scratch. It was, of course, a lot of people involved in the vision, but we made it happen. And of course, Nedra was integral to it coming to fruition.
And why did you hold it today?
Today's her birthday. Today would have been her 93rd birthday. Now, last year, we actually had her birthday party here when she turned 92. And she was here and she had a blast. She danced with everyone. And it was a beautiful party for her. This time, we celebrated her life with a lot of her friends. And as you saw, her fans and many leaders that were here today.
And quite a few family members.
You know, delegation of family members that traveled to be here from other states, California, and what was the other states? Several states. Miami, Florida. And she's got a daughter that actually still lives here, Karen. So it was really special to have them. How many? 10 of them that were here. It was wonderful.
Yeah. It speaks about the esteem and the love for her, the sort of leaders that you've had when to come and speak today.
It did. I was so pleased to have Senator Juan Hinojosa here. As you know, they'd been in session, so he wasn't able to be here when she passed. And so he had a resolution, and he goes, "This is a perfect time for me to come." And I go, "Yeah, because you can give it to it's like a birthday gift, if you will." And of course, it was very special to the city. And it was funny when the mayor said about budget time, because she would be at every budget hearing. It couldn't happen if she wasn't there. And I just thought I'd laugh with her about it. I'm like, well, if you have the time to be there, well, why not? So it meant a lot, I think, to have her there.
The mayor said she would scrutinize and hold them accountable for this. At the end of the day, she was happy that they produced a good budget, a fair budget that looked after everyone. She would be fulsome in her praise and thank them.
I loved it when she would go back and she said, "I want to say that I support and I agree with the budget." And I'm like, good for you. But she was really involved with that and paid a lot of attention to it. And I think that's a very good thing for a citizen to do. Anyone that has the time to do that should do that. Yeah. So.
And the county judge's remarks?
Very, very. He's very close to me. And so she was very special to him as well. As you heard, Javier Villalobos and, of course, Senator Chuy, because she was so hardworking in getting information out about voting and about, in making sure people voted was really important to her. Well, it is to many of us. Nedra did work hard through her group and Futuro McAllen. And so that continues to be a big issue, as you know.
So the event was held here at the Heritage Center. Can you take us back to the beginning of that? How did you start? And how was it that Nedra was one of the three key players for Prairie Going?
Well, we certainly had other people involved because we're in the Centennial Committee, as I was talking to you a little bit about it. We gathered and we had these wonderful events. We had a big park event at Archer Park. We had about 7,000 people came out, and then we had a gala at the club, and we honored the pioneer families, and people came in period costume. It was a very successful set of events to honor the city's centennial. And so after that happened, the committee regrouped. We debriefed and we said, you know what, we need our own museum because people loved all those historical displays. And you know what, we need a folklife festival because people love being at the park and all the entertainment and storytelling activities. And from that, we were able to create PalmFest. I actually chartered PalmFest, which is still in existence today. Now it's called Fiesta de Palmas. That started also in 2006. And we founded the museum. We chartered the museum in 2006, but then we needed to do so much work to become an actual museum and then to find a place to live, if you will. The city was gracious enough to look around and they saw this building that they were going to have available because they had the traffic department in here that was going to be moving. And other than that, it was used for people to shop downtown and come in here to have a bite or eat food in here. And it was, in my opinion, I think we're using it with high integrity for the building. So when they offered it to us, we were like, absolutely. However, in the interim period, we were using warehouses, and Mike Allen at MBDC lent us 2 air-conditioned offices for much of the collection items. But anyway, the three of us were called by Jack Chisholm, brother of Helen Snyder, who was one of the Old Timers Club members. He called me on a Sunday afternoon in summer when Helen had already passed. And he said, Elva, can you come over to Helen's? Because you need to come get all this stuff. And I'm like, sure. I called Nedra. I called Spud. We all went over there and saw these enormous tables all over her front yard covered with blue tarps and sheds. And we went through everything and saw that was what we consider our base collection of artifacts and all kinds of things. And then we looked at each other and we're like, we better find somewhere for all these things because Jack couldn't have them there. And MDC helped us. We had a donor to let us a warehouse. And that's what we took off from there. And it was an enormous amount of work and dedication. Spud Brown is amazing, Nedra, because the three of us are the ones that did the work. It's an idea. Anyone can have an idea, Steve, but you have to have what it takes to make it come to fruition. And I brought my expertise in banking and planning, financial planning. And because a lot of people thought they're not going to make it. It's too hard. Whereas that's something you don't tell me that, So here we are today, 17 years later.
And before Nedra passed, she said, Steve, make it a priority to Rio Grande Guardian to spread the word about the needs for this center to expand, to have an annex, or the city deserves something bigger.
She told me that she also reached out to others and one of the things about that is we are not mainstream advertisers because it's a nonprofit. We don't have those dollars. So we rely on print. We rely on social media and friends to help us. And so she told me that I'm going to do what I can. The capital campaign fundraising, I asked her to not be part of it because she was so involved selling tickets for our annual Check Wagon dinner. And she did a fabulous job with that. And she told me, oh, I can't help you with the capital. And I said, you don't worry about it. I will handle it with a committee, and I had John Kreidler and Danny, other people that helped. And we managed to fulfill the campaign requirements of funding. We finished the campaign January of 24, and we will have an annex hopefully soon. I'm hoping that the bidding process is complete this year and we can start building in 26. But that was her, she knew the struggle I had with getting exposure. And so she said, I'm going to help you at least with that, with my friends. And so we are getting out there and giving out more information about the annex, which we're so proud of it. We are out of room here. There's a lot of things in collection, storage that are just there because I also need space for people to be able to walk around the museum because I can't pack it in anymore. And then when we have receptions, I think it's a great space the way we did it today because it's intimate and it's so beautiful in here. But those 2 floors that we're going to get, that new building, it's already well used. And I'm thinking, I wish I could have done 3 stories. But it's not a friendly environment right now, Steve, for construction. It's so expensive. So we're very pleased with what we've done. And with the city support, I think we're going to be able to do it very soon.
I should have asked about the city support. I know I've asked you this before, but look at the turnout tonight with the city commissioners. They meant a lot to them. And this museum, this museum means a lot to the city commissioners.
And I think it does. I mean, we've grown over the past 17 years. We started small. We had a third of the building, and then I went back. I said, I need another third. And then I went back. I said, they need the whole building. And they gave it until we had it in its entirety. And then we redeveloped a little park and made it into a little pocket park that we use quite a bit and that people love because there's a beautiful mural that we commissioned out there. So I think the city is really seeing our value. Roy Rodriguez, our former city manager, always said they viewed us as an extension of city services, which is really pretty much what it is. We are a separate entity, but they are our greatest benefactor. And if you know about other small city museums, most of them are city departments. We're not. We're still autonomous as a 501c3, but we're very close to the city and we need them. And I think they need us too. So
another question I've asked before, and you told it so well, how you will get people coming in off the streets that you don't know. They're out-of-towners. They're here on business, but they want to learn about the history. And you have your mat, and you ask people to point pinpoint where they're from, and they're from all over the world, and they aren't the space.
They love it. The people that come from foreign countries spend the most time in the building. They peruse they ask questions, they take their time. Average time for them can be 2.5 hours in this museum. Of course, local people spend time in here too, but they are so inquisitive. When I happen to be out on the gallery floor, I'll visit with them. And many times I've encountered people from foreign countries that are here to do business with the city of McAllen. And I'm like, and we want to be here. We come here because we want to know who you are. So the history of our city tells who we are and how we came to this point of the vibrant, trailblazing city we are today, right? So, yes, in many ways and more, I hope that as we continue to grow, we'll do more to make our city more known to people that visit and want to either live here or do business here. So having said that, our families are very important to us. We don't charge admission. One of our city fathers said, don't make it prohibitive if you can. And it's very hard. Most museums charge. We never have. It's a donation only if our per capita is not bad. If we do the analysis, it's really not bad based on donations. So it's nice when I walk out there and there's a family of 5 here, a mom and a dad and 3 kids. And then we have a bookcase. It's free books for the kids and little hats and things. So I think we're doing our job to make our museum open and friendly and not cost prohibitive for anyone.
Has anyone ever calculated the added value you bring as a museum to attracting tourists to the city?
Analysis, no. But I do know that every time they do that top 10 destinations, we make it to like number 7 or number 8. But we make it. And our reviews are all is 4.5 stars. And I want to make it 5, but 4.5 is not bad, and very warm comments made by our visitors because we want to be friendly and we offer people waters and we do, we go the distance trying to help. But, with time and things maybe not on our side economically, it's very tough for museums to fundraise. We've been very lucky with community support, donations, our board, our store. We developed a store that we also have online, our fundraisers. And all of that has helped us. And my careful planning, I got to give myself the kudos because I'm a very careful planner in financials. I always start off with a 5-year plan and adjust it as we go. And here we are today. I'm very proud of that. Very proud because it's a tough environment for us financially. So
let's bring it back to Nedra and the people that were here, not just the elected officials, but the people. There's some very well-established leaders in our community.
And friends, and really friends. I mean, there was a young man here with his mom who lived in her neighborhood, Eduardo, and he got very close to her in her, latter days and spent a lot of time with her, helping her, offering his help. And so she just was that kind of a person. I miss her terribly. I can't put it into words. She was my touchstone. We encounter a lot of things in life and in this place that I needed to call her and go over something with her and say, give me some advice. This is how I feel. What do you think? And she was always there for me. Man, I miss her. Not only because she was hardworking, but because her wisdom helped me so much over the past years with this place, and other things that we're involved in together. But she was so warm to people and welcomed everyone. Yeah, we had all kinds of people here that not only the city leaders and state leaders, but friends that she met through Futuro. She was one of the founders of Futuro as well. And so, very special person, just to say it in a very simple way.
Everyone said how positive she was here today. And they also thanked the family for allowing her to be with this community.
Well, they came down here as winter visitors. And then they just started loving it so much that when her hubby, retired, I met him and knew him too and loved him, Bob. They just decided, we just need to move here. We love it here. And then that's when they got involved with citrus, and then that got wiped out. And anyway, long story short, they just love the valley and stayed here. And we're lucky. We're very lucky. She was a dynamo, and a very special friend. She was a dynamo over there too. We're just lucky she decided to come down here and impart her wisdom and her hard work very humble. I believe in that too. I think we also got along so well because we shared that high ethics of hard work and not and humility. Really, I always tell people the way I grew up is I'll do whatever it takes to make something happen. And she was a really hard worker and a very smart person. And I think we were paralleled on that. How we were raised here too. It's not the same anymore. So
I don't think she ever took no for an answer.
I know. Thank God. But I miss her terribly. She did a great job with her fundraising, especially with a ticket that I'm sure you are familiar with, and the dinner ticket. And so, in so many other ways that I can't, we can't go into right now. But she was just a great friend and a big help to me because sometimes it wasn't that a lot. I'm that much younger than Nedra, but she was my elder, and I respected her just hugely. But we would encounter some tough times and some maybe things that were discouraging to us as we were trying to build a museum. And, it's tough not to take it personal because to us, this was a labor of love. I grew up in this area and I was born and raised here, and so I love McAllen truly and deeply. And so it's hard not to take things personal. But, that's when I would go to her and we would kind of talk things out and say, well, let's try to temper this. And so she really was very helpful at that.
We can't let the interview go without also mentioning Spud's role.
Spud is amazing. He still works here every Thursday as a volunteer. He's an emeritus director and, of course, a founder. And he does our tours. And he's just so knowledgeable. He's lived a good portion of McAllen history. So every day that I have Spud I feel so blessed and lucky to have him. And I love him so much. He's just a wonderful man, and we're not replacing them as we lose them. And, Nedra, we're going to keep the torch going for her. And I love Spud singing his song right now. That's amazing. And, we need to stay patriotic and love our city as well. And that song was so to the point about that. So, and he loves doing it. He just loves to sing in front of people, and I'm like, I need to learn the words. But Spud is very important to me and to the museum. A big supporter.
Those are all the questions I had. I don't want you to have to delve from think of it too much as I know what it or, you're on delicate emotions.
It's been tough, but don't forget, we do want to, the annex is really important and we are going to go forward with that. So we may want to do a subsequent story. I want to get that out to the public and can't thank enough the public that has supported us and visited this museum over the past 17 years. And for your support, Steve, it means a lot to us. And it's a lot to her and to me. You're a dear friend of ours. And so thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on such a special evening.